Hi, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Susan Lynn. I'm a psychic and a medium, and I have a whole cadre of political spirit guides that help me kind of tune into the politics and give you a heads up about what might be happening behind the scenes. I mean, if you're psychic, why not use it for good instead of bad, right? So let's dig into this. First off, I want to talk about something that is sort of becoming pretty public and people are starting to talk about it. And that is the Texas AG, the Texas Attorney General. You may not know this, and God bless you if you don't, because it means you haven't tuned into politics. And that's probably the safest place for you to be right now. But the Texas AG has been under indictment for over 8 years. Let that sink in for a minute. Now, the reason this guy has been managing to dodge subpoenas and court dates and everything else is because, as I understand it, there was a Trump appointee that was blocking these things from going forward. And now there's a Biden appointed appointee who is like, green light, green light, green light. Let's get this man in front of a court. And indeed, the DOJ has taken up this case. So Ken Paxton, God bless you, honey. Your butt is toast. Now, this guy just got impeached by the House Texas Republicans, which is unheard of. And everybody's trying to figure out why he got impeached. Well, I'm going to be honest with you and tell you, I already been telling y'all, the light is here. And she's kicking butt and taking names. Another case in point. This big dummy went on a right-wing talk show because these people were thinking they were bulletproof, right? No judge was taking them down. No law was taking them down. It was like they were operating with some sort of complete immunity. And this is the case. This is what we witnessed during our reign of hell terror during 45's tenure. That is true. But now there's a new sheriff in town, and his name is Dark Brandon. So here, that energy is, creating ripples all over the whole country. I'm going to talk about it right now. We're starting again with Texas AG Paxton. And what I want to tell you is this big dummy went on a right-wing radio talk show and said, hey, if it wasn't for me, blocking millions of mail-in ballots, Texas would have been blue. Beto probably would have won. I saved the day in Texas because I, as Attorney General, blocked all those mail-in ballots. Now, you guys, this big dummy said this in 2021, to be specific, June 5th, 2021. I reported on this last year. I've talked about this. But again, this is another case in point for me to explain to you guys, this is different. The energy is different. These people have been running amok, feeling like they had immunity, and now their immunity card is over. It's been burned. It's over. Now we're going to go around and collect them all up and put them in prison. This is another case in point. This guy said this in 21, but now it's making the rounds like he just said it yesterday. It's like we were in some kind of coma. Remember, the guides kept saying that it was like humans, and specifically, to be honest with you, Americans, we're in some kind of fever dream where we weren't seeing things very clear. Remember that? Remember how they talked about the cure shouldn't kill the patient? Remember, they had all these metaphors. They talked about dissolution. God, they talked about dissolution for video after video after video, which is dissolving. We're going to be dissolving this party. And the idea that they are immune. The idea, frankly, that anyone is immune. I don't care if you're a Democrat. I don't care if you're a Republican. You break the law, you need to pay the price. Right? After a court trial, this is not a banana republic. We are going to take our time and give you an opportunity to present your case, at which point we all know you're guilty anyway. No, maybe we are a banana republic. I don't know. But we are going to put you in jail because I know that you guys have broken the laws because I'm psychic. So how interesting that all of this, it's like hell is raining down on A.G. Paxton. This guy has been allegedly criminal and a crook for a very long time. This is the guy that somehow gave a favor to someone to hire his side hustle piece, his side woman, because he didn't want to drive to San Antonio to visit her. So he had somebody in the Capitol give her a job so that she could be closer to him. These people are, deplorable. Hillary Clinton was right. They're effing deplorable. But the good news is that they're all coming after this man. The whole Texas ledge is going after this man. And he has been removed of his duties because he was impeached by the House. The Texas Senate will take this up in the fall, and I fully expect them to oust him. Now, again, we've told you guys this a lot. I'm pointing this out because I want you to kind of see how the pieces are falling together, because in my opinion, it gives us all hope. And I need hope. I'm pretty sure you need hope right now. This is hope. This is an indication that 3 years later, I know, 3 years, I know. Look, you can look at this as a glass half empty, or you can look at it as a glass half full. It's up to you. To me, I'm going to cling to hope. 3 years later, the light is here. She finally got here. I don't know where she's been. Maybe she's been down at the corner at the bar. I don't know. I don't care. She's here now. It's all I care about. She's here. She's kicking butt and taking names. Case in point, they're going after their own people. Now, in the meantime, this guy's been, his duties, he's basically lame duck. He's been defanged, right? Now, also in the Texas ledge, they're all fighting each other. The governor has called them back into session because Texas has a lot of money. Texas has a huge amount of money in its rainy day fund, and people have been really harping on them to use it to help freaking Texans. And well, they didn't give teachers a raise, but they also didn't give money or give a sort of power to the school vouchers. So no one won, and the governor is bringing them back to get his school voucher money. He wants that thing passed, and he's going to bring them back, except for that now he's really facing pushback, right? There's actual real pushback. It's like the Texas legislature is kind of falling apart from the inside out. And this is what we're going to see replicated across the country. The same infighting that you're seeing now in the United States representatives, where McCarthy worked a deal with Biden to save our country, to, pay our bills. Now, the Freedom Caucus is all coming out against McCarthy, and the Republican Party is splintering, just like the Texas Republican Party. You're going to see this replicated like dominoes. Now, I think, I don't know what they've just talked to me about. What I'm seeing is that the Democrats, they're kind of steely. I mean, by Jeffrey, look, Nancy Pelosi was steely. Nobody's going to convince me otherwise. That woman was a strategist. And Jeffries is also a strategist. And Jeffries is over here corralling the Democrats. Of course, some of our progressive Democrats don't like the deal. Of course, the Freedom Caucus on the other side doesn't like the deal. Doesn't matter. We have enough to make this work. But what I think is interesting is that McCarthy is the sacrificial lamb. How many times have they told you guys that the Republicans are going to start giving people up to appease the gods, appease the justice gods? Maybe if we give up Paxton, they won't investigate Abbott. Maybe if we give up Paxton, they won't investigate Lieutenant Governor Patrick. Wrong. The justice gods are going to gobble up Paxton, and then they're going to gobble up Abbott and Patrick. It doesn't work like that, folks. I know you guys think it does, but it doesn't. This justice, the light, the goddess of the light, she's coming and she don't care. She's not going to be no quid pro quo. She's going to come and take the criminals out. So if you've been criming, you're going to do the time. So I love this because going back to the House of Representatives, the Democrats are going to vote to keep Speaker McCarthy in office. Now, that probably made some of y'all's heads blow off. The bottom line is we're not going to get a Democratic speaker. Let's just face it. Let's be honest with ourselves. We're not going to get that. The next best thing is to keep a speaker in office that drives his own party crazy, that has been identified as a traitor, that has been identified as a rhino. The Democrats can do this because some of those conservative Republicans that aren't in the Freedom Caucus are going to join the Democrats, and they're going to allow him to keep his job a little bit longer, just to turn the knife a little bit more, just to create havoc within the Republican Party. So if you see a vote where the Democrats stand behind McCarthy, you know what's going on. They don't have a choice. We can't get a Democrat in there, but we sure as heck can keep a Republican in there that's driving all of his fellow crazy Republicans even crazier, right? So this is a win-win for me personally. I've said it before, the guides say we're gonna squeak through the debt ceiling, right? Told you guys that. Well, we've been telling you that for a long time, but I told you that when I was in Sedona, we had a whole carload of some of the best psychics, and we all agreed at the last minute the debt ceiling would be passed. Sometimes I think about those poor people that don't have access to psychics and how freaked out. Like if I didn't know this information, like I would be freaking out right now, you know? So I'm really kind of blessed, right? That I can talk to my guides and they say, hey, this is a nothing burger, as the famous Linda G would say, right? So not worried about that. So the next thing that I want to talk to you about is, okay, we'll switch to Ukraine, and then I'm going to talk about, there's a House member stepping down. There's a House member stepping down. That's going to reduce McCarthy's vote by one whole vote. And he's got a narrow margin. But before we go there, let me talk to you about Ukraine very briefly. The spirit guide said last week, and I edited out of my video actually because frankly, I didn't know what the hell they were talking about. But they kept talking about Ukraine counting coup. Now, I grew up with these Westerns, which are very racist and wrong in every way. And I remember hearing counting coup, and I just assumed, I'm not saying that on this video. I don't know if that's, incorrect to say. I don't know what the origin is. I don't understand why they're saying it. So I edited it out. Well, they said it to me for about 3 or 4 days, which is what they do when they want me to pay attention to something. And then eventually they just leave me alone because, I stop answering their calls. Well, here's where it makes sense, right? This is finally where the light bulb went off. Susan's human light bulb went off, and they finally helped me figure it out. Counting coup means, according to what I've researched, it means touching your enemy without killing them. I mean, that's a pretty brave thing to do, right? To run up to your enemy and touch them without being killed or without killing them. That's a very brave thing to do. And it was very celebrated in the native peoples of North America, or the United States part of America. So here's how Ukraine is counting coup. Now, I'm going to give you some caveats here, but the basic thing is that some drones flew into Russia and didn't do anything. They didn't do anything to St. Petersburg or to Moscow. No. They flew right into the suburb, the actual enclave of some of the most important people in Russia, including the prime minister. Putin allegedly has a house there. Various high-level military people and high-level governmental people all live in this very rich, exclusive enclave. Ukraine allegedly flew drones right into that enclave and basically touched them, gave them every knowledge that they were there, did a tiny little bit of damage to one of the houses, and that was that. That's counting coup, folks. That's saying, I can reach out and touch you, and what are you going to do about it? Did Putin send nuclear arms? No. No, because he doesn't have the capacity. He doesn't have the capability. Can he do a dirty bomb? Absolutely. Can he do a lot of dastardly things? Absolutely. But he's not. This proves they're ineffective in so many ways, and they're unprotected because their missile defense system doesn't work on drones. Now, the caveats are that the distance from Ukraine to this enclave is out of the range of a drone from Ukraine. But I'm telling you, this has got Ukrainian fingers all over it. There are what they call partisans working within Russia that support Ukraine, and they're doing all kinds of things within Russia to help the cause, right? That this rattled the Kremlin, because if Ukraine wanted to, they could have armed those drones. They could have armed that drone. It was big enough that people have video of it. It was a big drone. It could have easily carried some sort of arms. And now Putin and his elite know that they're not out of touch, know that they are not out of reach. This is a big deal. This is counting coup, right? So I know that they're showing me right now that Biden's spokesperson has been saying, and I heard her saying this yesterday, I repeat, we do not support Ukraine attacking Russia within Russia's borders, right? She had to repeat that 5 times, right? Because didn't the guides tell you last week that people would start complaining that Ukraine is hurting Russia, that they're too strong, that they're attacking Russia within its borders, and people were going to complain? And remember how I said that just makes me so mad, because what kind of dystopia, crazy world are we living in that is a bad thing? You know, Russia went over Ukraine's borders and decimated it. And now y'all are going to complain? Who is going to complain? Fox News. That's who's going to complain, right? We know they're Russian anyway, right? We know this. So anyway, I just wanted to tell you that because, first of all, it shows you how the guides give me messages and how I ignore them. And also it shows you how your guides can talk in metaphors. Okay. In historical metaphors. Okay. So let's move on. Okay. Now, speaking of people being Russian, there's this woman named Tara Reid, who was a staffer. I believe, sadly, she was a White House staffer. She had some connection or some, I don't know what they're saying. But anyway, she had, when I say connection, they want to say proximity. They want me to use the word proximity. Okay, because she had a physical proximity to Biden. Now, this woman, you probably don't know her name. She alleged that Biden sexually assaulted her. This was a while back, and the allegations were never went anywhere because there was no there. There was nothing there to prove anything ever happened. So this woman, Tara Reid, she kind of disappeared. Actually, she kind of just like went off the radar. Well, she's back on the radar, and guess where she's at? Russia. And people are saying she defected to Russia. Now, when you use the word defected, that means that you were Russian, or you have a reason to defect, like you're a spy. Theoretically speaking, an American could just move to Russia. An American could visit Russia. We wouldn't normally use the word defect. But this is what's happened. Now, this woman, Tara Reid, has literally shown up on the stage in an interview with Russia State TV, denouncing the Biden administration and denouncing the United States' support of Ukraine. Now, if it doesn't take a big leap, right, to go from this woman had a high-level staffing position in our government, and now she's on Russian state TV. So you can kind of see how these Russians have their tendrils in our government, and how that really, the guides are saying that really flourished during the Trump years, right? I mean, it started, they've been infiltrating, the guides want to say, they've been infiltrating our government for many, many decades. But it kind of went on turbo boost during the Trump years. So it's just really hard to wrap your head around that this woman is now saying she would like to live in both places, but she understands that if she comes back, that she may be locked up. She may be put in a cage, is what she actually said. And nobody's trying to put her in a cage. We don't care, girl. We don't care. We got so many people we're trying to put in cages above you. You're going to have to take a number and sit down. We working hard over here trying to get Trump in a cage, you down the list. So just sit down and shut up. Woo, spicy today. Okay, here is the news you've been waiting for. Well, maybe not. United States Representative is stepping down from his seat. His name is Chris Stewart, and he is from Utah, right? Okay. He is stepping down. Now, he hasn't given his official notice, but it's all over the news. So obviously something has been leaked. Now, you may not see it. I don't know where you've seen it or if you've seen it yet, but I have it on good authority because the leakers that I know, I trust. So this guy, Chris Stewart, who is a election denier, he's one of those far right-wing representatives, and he's one of the people that where we can't say that he asked for a pardon, but we can say that somebody, and I forget who that is, there's somebody who asked for a blanket pardon, and he was one of those people that was in the blanket pardon. Like, can we get a pardon for all of these representatives who were all election deniers? Well, he was in the list that was included, that was given to Trump. Do we know if he got a pardon? We don't know. He could have gotten a pocket pardon, I guess. But the good news is that he's stepping down from the House of Representatives. And as I said earlier, this gives McCarthy one less vote. Now, what I understand is, at least initially, the Utah government is saying, we don't have the money to run a special election. So this guy, his seat is going to go unfilled until our next scheduled election, which I don't think is for several months. So McCarthy could potentially be without a vote for a couple of months. Now, that's really good news, in my opinion, especially considering how close we are to the margin there. But it's also good information and it's really good news, because the guides say, like, this is the number one, right? Like, the guides have been telling you guys for a long time, people were going to start disappearing. Either they're going to step down, they're going to retire, or they're going to get removed, or they're going to get indicted, convicted, and removed, right? So there's a lot of ways for this to happen. The easiest is for them to just step down. And this guy is saying he's stepping down because his wife is ill. Nobody knows anything about his wife's illness. I hope she's not ill. I wish her all the best if she is ill, because Democrats try to go high when they go low. But I will say that I saw some reporting from a Utah Fox channel that reported that she was just seen over Memorial Day weekend shopping in California. Now, I mean, she could have gotten a diagnosis and went retail therapy shopping. I don't know. I'm just saying, for whatever reason this man has stopped stepping down, I salute you, sir. Please go take care of your wife and your family. Good idea. So we're going to see more of this. Now, hopefully by now you can see where Lady Justice is kicking butt and taking names, right? Can you see how things are really starting to move? The energy is starting to move in the right direction. And this is just the beginning, right? There's so many more things that are going to happen. And the guides have always said, even I'm going to be surprised. The psychics are going to be surprised. We're all going to be saying, I didn't have that on my bingo card. Who's got bingo? None of us, because we never saw it coming, right? There's just so much swirling around at once. Everybody has free will. This guy decided to take himself out, right? He decided to, avoid, maybe he is taking care of his wife, or maybe he's deciding to avoid some kind of DOJ investigation publicly. Again, these people are going to either be sacrificing people a la Paxton in Texas, or they're going to be trying to get real quiet and real small so Justice Lady Light doesn't notice them as she's running through grabbing people. That doesn't work. I get it. Look, if you don't want to be drugged through the mud in public, rock on. I really suggest that you step down from public office. Let it happen in private. Maybe it doesn't hurt as much. I don't know. But I'm happy for him. I wish him all the best. So that's really good news. And we just need a few more of those, right? And we'll be doing good. Let's see if there's anything else. So the last thing I want to say to you guys, which is just funny, Representative Clay Higgins, this numbnuts, they're trying to horn in on my business is what's happening. This guy and his wife are trying to horn in on my business. Here's what he says. My wife has the gift of premonition. Last night, she dreamed that federal squads were in our home seizing guns, knives, unauthorized foods, and stored water. Not the water. Don't take the water. They said we had been reported. Becca awoke crying. She woke up from this dream crying, y'all. What happened to our freedom? She asked. What indeed? This is a representative, y'all, out here saying that his wife had a bad dream, and he's acting like it just came true. Trying to horn up on my business. We're just not going to put up with that. So I just want to leave you with that little bit of hilarity. Thank you so much for tuning in to this news update. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Take really, really good care of yourselves. I'll be back pretty soon, actually, with Way Out Wednesdays, my video series on spiritual topics. Today is spiritual protection, but I'll also be back. I'll be asking for your questions pretty soon. I post those in my community page, which if you subscribe, you'll see the community post from the various people you subscribe to. It shows up in your video feed on your YouTube. You see video, then you see a post. It may not look like a post, but it's a post. It's not a video. Now, YouTube controls who sees the post, right? It's the mighty algorithm that nobody understands. So all I can say is subscribe, comment. The more you interact with any one person's channel or anything on social media, the more you see of that person. So if you want to see these community posts, that's a good way to do it. For you guys that are watching this on TV, I don't think you see the community post. I'm really sorry about that. You have a heads up. I'm going to be asking for political questions. What is today? I don't know. Wednesday. I'll probably ask tomorrow because I have a day off on Friday to do the video. So you have a heads up. If you're on your TV, go to your phone or other device, look up my channel, go to the main channel by clicking the icon, and then you'll see a tab and you'll see community. Click that. You'll be able to find the community post. Take really good care of yourselves. We'll talk soon. For entertainment purposes only.